What's up, wrestling fans? Before we get to the news today and what I want to talk about as far as WWE and wrestling related, it is important to bring up the fact that YouTube is not only demonetizing my videos, but always, not ever, is that words? Never always? I don't know. But they don't always share them with you guys as well on YouTube anymore. So please make sure to become a patron on patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show, because clicking the bell and everything doesn't really help anymore as much as it used to. And look at this new news that just happened. Just to clarify, we're currently experimenting with how to show content in the sub feed. So they've already ruined the suggestive feed, the home page, the recommended feed, and we don't know what they do with that. But the subscription feed was at least the place where we know that you would see the most recent videos of the people you're subscribed to. But now YouTube is messing with the subs feed. And they say, we find that some viewers are able to more easily find the videos they want to watch when we order the subs feed in a personalized order, as always showing most recent video first. Verse always showing most recent video first. So they want to start to tell you what you should watch in your sub feed instead of you getting everything in order the way it was, which is crazy to me. So pretty soon you can probably start seeing advertisements or a random video from someone you're not subscribed to in your subscriber feed, if that makes any sense at all. Tons of YouTubers are flipping out about this, including H3H3, who did a really good video about it, so go watch that if you want more info. I will be making a video about this on youtube.com/corruptedpodcast YouTube channel, but now let's go into some of the wrestling news. Demolition was recently on Sean Mooney's podcast. And yes, Sean Mooney has a podcast, but a former WWE announcer or news guy, announcer guy, Sean Mooney, who I love Sean Mooney. But yeah, so he had Demolition on. They were like, yeah, we heard that the people get $5,000 to $6,000 when they get inducted into the Hall of Fame, and they said it would take probably about $100,000 to get them in. Now, it sounded like they were kidding in a way, but I don't think that they were. I don't know if that's like ego, like, all right, well, they haven't offered it to us yet, so whatever. But at one point they sort of made it seem like they were offered it, but they wanted that money. And then at another point they said, but if it ever came around and someone asked us, I don't know, it would be a pretty big honor, So I don't know what that means. I don't know, like, I'm confused at whether they've been offered or not. So far we've been told that they haven't been, but we know they were involved in that concussion lawsuit thing. They were formerly the longest reigning tag team champions until the New Day broke that up. Although, what are the real tag team champions now that Smackdown and Raw have their own tag titles? That's part of the thing that drives me nuts about WWE now, is the titles are just all in disarray. And that's my biggest issue, is that the titles just not only do they not seem to mean anything, but it's confusing to follow. And especially for like newer fans. Maybe it's not for newer fans because they're just like, I don't care anyway. Maybe that's the case. But for me, being an older fan, just seeing the lineage destroyed, what does anything mean then after that? You know what I mean? If we're gonna have all like SmackDown titles and Raw titles, it just seems so stupid to me. And I would have preferred even like a name, like kind of like how the Universal title, at least it's different, WWE World Heavyweight Champion and WWE Universal Champion. At least there's a separation, like, WWE Universal Tag Team Champions, maybe that's too many words, I don't know, rather than SmackDown Raw Champions, I don't know, and make the belts red and blue. I mean, I preferred it so much better when they're just that is the belt. Those are the tag belts. There's only one set of tag belts in the company, and the best tag team is going to most likely have them. That just makes the most sense. Everything else is ridiculous to me. But anyway, there's talks about a Mae Young 2 Classic that's coming up. If it happens, it probably happened around the same time, I think, as the last one, if I'm not correct. I think it was August or September when the last one happened, so maybe it would be the same situation this time. But I'd go back to probably August or September, if that were to happen. WWE's under some scrutiny about contract meddling, messing around with people who have contracts already. So could be some legal stuff going on there between WWE and ROH. We talked about that a little while back, but it seems to be coming up again right now. I'm not really sure why I'm seeing it in some news feeds. But guys, I don't know, man. They got to do something in WWE, but the stock is blowing it out of the water, and we've talked about this so much, and I'll talk about this in a separate video perhaps, but, you know, I've been saying this for a long time, but, you know, WWE continues to put the Band-Aid on the wound, on the injury, right? So even if less fans show up to the events, and even if tickets are down, and even if viewership is down, WWE continues to think that they're doing great because revenue streams keep opening up and money keeps flowing. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, more people are less interested than ever, it seems. Stuff is dropping, but, oh, you know, Saudi Arabia gave us $200 million. Oh, you know, USA Network gave us 3 times the amount of what Raw was worth. And then we can just take SmackDown and shop it for $1 billion on Fox. So it just feels like WWE is constantly rewarded for failure. And listen, if you're somebody who doesn't think that WWE is failing creative-wise, I'll meet you halfway. They're at least complacent creatively. I cannot believe that anybody with a brain on their head, like a brain inside their head, with a head above their shoulders, could possibly think the WWE isn't creatively in a coma, or at least creatively on autopilot right now. And the fact that they're just happy doing whatever and cruising along with a few little good ideas here or there and pretty much just same as always, they're fine with doing that. But then they're rewarded with all this money. So they can say that, oh, you know, we're making the most money we've ever made. You know, WWE's doing amazing. Look at the stock. Look at the money. Look at everything we're doing. And, you know, it's too bad because I'll tell you what, guys, you're going to get more of the same. You're going to get so much more of the same now. It's got to be, right? Why would they change anything? Because they feel that they're doing well. The only thing that would get them to change what they're doing is if they were out of money and they were in trouble. And to me, it's like WWE has become amazing. You got to give it to them. They're amazing at creating revenue streams, and then they can afford Demolition. The Hall of Fame, they can afford to pay Demolition $100,000 now because they've done so much other stuff. It's crazy. They've made so much money, and they can just keep these talents around. Pretty soon, they're going to put the whole entire indie scene under contract in NXT or something. Hey, give everybody $80,000 and tell them they're in the WWE, you know, and then lock them up in a contract. I wouldn't, you know, you start seeing contracts for people who are like, yeah, sign this WWE contract for 2 years, 3 years, and there's also something else in the contract that says you can't work with another company on TV or whatever for a year after your contract ends. You know, you're going to see stuff like that. I don't know who they're going to offer that to. But other than like the big like 10 guys who are well known in Ring of Honor and New Japan and shit like Kenny Omega, Young Bucks, Cody Rhodes and stuff like that. See, they don't want to make another Cody Rhodes, you know? So, you know, I can assume that if they sign a guy like Rich Swann, right? I assume that WWE wants to sign as many guys like Rich Swann that they can. All those sort of indie guys who have a name, even a little bit of a name. Just sign them all, you know what I mean? Give them all $70,000. Tell them they're in the WWE. And then put in the contract that, you know, you can't work anywhere else for a whole year if you leave the contract, or, you know, once the contract expires, if the WWE doesn't even pick up the contract. I wouldn't be surprised if they start writing contracts like that because they can bully people money-wise now. There's no Pyro still, so explain that. We don't know. I don't know. You don't know. But what we do know is that the people are leaving. The ticket sales are down. The viewership is down. But what we also know is the stocks are higher than they've ever been. And revenue streams are at the most and highest they've ever seemingly been. So what do you do? This is legitimately, I'm trying to think of a good analogy, and I really can't quite think of an analogy, but it kind of is the equivalent of a guy working at Friendly's or like an ice cream store, and he's just fucking terrible, right? The guy working at Friendly's serving ice cream is fucking terrible, right? He's like the worst. He drops fucking cones on the ground. He fucking fucks people's orders up to the point where people stop coming to the Friendly's. You know what I mean? And they start seeing that less customers are coming to friendlies now and for so they can't figure out why. And then all of a sudden, they friendlies figures out a way to rent land to I don't know, other restaurants, or to franchises or whatever. And then friendlies gets paid money because of this, and they get a whole bunch of money. So then they decide to give everybody a raise in the company. So everybody gets a raise, they get a bunch of money, and fucking Dildo Jones, who's the guy who serves the ice cream, still there, sucks. But they lost customers. But they don't care they lost customers because Jones got a raise. And Friendly's is making more money than ever. So rather than evaluate their staff and say, well, hey, guys, you know, we noticed that less people are coming to Friendly's now. What's going on? And they find out that their training managers are terrible, and that if their training managers worked a little harder at all the Friendly's and trained people better and they hired better people, that perhaps more people would come and they would make more money. But because they got some shortcut deal somewhere else that has nothing to do with the way their business operations are going, they figure everything's fine, just leave it alone. Nobody else would do this, right? Nobody else would do this. I've compared it to YouTube a million times. You guys have heard me. I've been doing this for months. I'm sure somebody else will make a video and then say it was their idea and I stole it, or someone else stole it from them, which is what they always do. There's a particular YouTuber out there, and you know who he is. But oh my God, dude, there's this guy. First of all, I don't watch anybody on YouTube. I don't watch any wrestling shows. I don't watch anybody. I don't even watch like the news ones. I can't stand these things. Like, they just basically, these guys who just started doing YouTube in the last couple of years, they start making videos all the time about news. Like, here's the news on this happening for 70 seconds, and then the video's over. It's like, how lazy can you be, dude? And you know, they're like passing me in subs and stuff, and it's like, why? Like, how are these people? Like, it's pathetic. You know, you're just, oh, let me read the news. Okay, now here it's over. You know, WWE fired this guy. Well, we'll see what happens later. Bye, guys. That was the news. Very good job. You put a lot of work into it. So you can compare it to that, right? Like, should I just make my channel about me just saying, hey, Demolition asked for $100,000. Here's the clip. Look at that. Wow, that was weird. Anyway, bye, guys, and see you later. I mean, I could do that, and some people might prefer it maybe because then they get the news and that's it. That's all they want. But you know, I try to break it down, or like at least give you some further analysis or details on the situation. You know what I mean? You try to give the news at the beginning, and if people want to stick around and listen, then that's how you go. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's people are fucking weird. You know, people like abuse. You know what I mean? Like, some YouTubers abuse people. Do they abuse them on Twitter? They abuse them on their videos, and like anybody else's opinions, like they just tell them that they're an idiot and an asshole, and then they block them. I mean, it's just bizarre. You know who I block? People that are scumbags, like actually scumbags, like who are just like horrible people or whatever, or that are fake spies or something. But it's like, who, you know, if you have a different opinion, like that's fine. Like I might not agree with you, but it's just weird. But it's kind of like YouTube, right? Like, imagine if on Monetize This, you know, we're doing more, we get donations, right, in the show and Patreon, and we're doing better financially than we ever done, right? Like, we get the most donations we ever got and everything else. People are supporting the show like never before, but my views were going way down, you know, and I was getting like 800 views a video, and then 700 views a video, and I was going that way down from 3,000 and 4,000 to 700. I would start to freak out. But what WWE does is they say, "Oh, it's never been better than it's been." You know, it's literally the same thing. Can you imagine if I started getting 600 views on my videos instead of 3,000 views, and the money, and I was still making the same amount of money though? If I was just to say, well, hey, we're making more money than we ever made. You know, we're getting more support than we've ever gotten before. So, hey, I'm not going to let that get to me. You know, that's not how I'm doing the best I ever did, bro. So get out of here with your crap and your numbers. You're a joke. We're killing it right now. You know, I don't care. You know, and then soon we get down to 500 and 300. I mean, then it would get worse and worse and worse. And then you would start seeing the money affected. But then it would be like if I got down to 500 views, But then some guy who had a ton of money was like, Joe, I really love what you do, and I'm rich, and I'd like to fund your show a little bit more. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then he gave me $50,000. I would be like, holy shit, right? Like, this is awesome. I'm killing it. But the views are still down at 500. And it would be like if I came on and just was like, we're killing it right now. You know, I'm destroying. I would never think that way. I would never think that way. A rich guy with like $100 million could say, Joe, I love your show, Joe. I want to help fund your show and keep you kicking ass on here. I watch you every day. I want to give you $500,000, and I'm going to give it to you. It's not a big deal. It's like a drop in the bucket to me. I don't care. And the guy gave me $500,000, and all of a sudden I had $500,000. Now, while I would be happy about that, I still would be upset. I would still be upset, and I would be concerned if I had 500 views. Because I would say, man, look, I had built an average viewership of at least 4,000 views a video or 3,000 views a video, maybe 2,500 sometimes. And to be at 500, what is going on? I would be terrified, dude. I would be still terrified and angry and upset. You know what I mean? Even though I got this giant chunk of money and now I was rich because of it, I would still not be happy with the views. But WWE doesn't ever acknowledge that. They just say, oh, whatever, let's go forward, who cares? But you can't deny the house show sales. You can't deny the empty seats that we see. You can't deny the ratings and audience reaction. Look at the audience reaction too. Just compare audience reaction. I don't understand how Vince and everybody can sit behind in Gorilla and think to themselves, what a great show this is. You know, what a great show. We're really putting on a great show here. I just don't understand how they can't, how they're happy with this. I don't get it. I wouldn't be happy if I was them. I would say, listen, we have 2 to 3 million people watching. I want 5 million people. And then I want 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. I want 10 million people. Dude, there's YouTubers who have 5 to 6 million people watching them. If I was WWE, I'd be like, well, this is ridiculous. We should have more. And, you know, but they constantly say, oh, TV's different now. Less people are watching. So 3 million is like the old 6 million. So we're really doing really well. But no, you're only doing well right now because you have great business decisions as far as business-wise. WWE has amazing business decisions. The fact that they were able to get that much money from Saudi Arabia, the fact that they were able to triple their Raw income to USA Network and shop Smackdown to get $1 billion 5-year deal. I mean, are you kidding me? Whoever's in charge of their marketing and sales and business and negotiations as far as that goes, they are flawless, it seems. They are destroying. They are killing it. But right now, as far as the actual product that we're looking at, I don't know how you can be happy with it. I don't know. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Speaking of thinking, think about becoming a patron, because YouTube apparently soon, you know, you're not going to get alerted that I made a video in your sub box, because YouTube's going to tell you to watch someone else's sub box instead of mine, or they're going to start putting videos in your sub box that you're not sub to because they think you want to watch that more. So now the recommended's gone and home screen's gone, and the sub box you have to go find, now that will be gone, so there'll be no sub box. What's the point in subbing anybody then at that point? And subscriptions will kind of just go out the window at that point on YouTube. The good news is on my shows, I'm done. Most of my big shows are done on a schedule, so you know when I'm live. You know when I'm going to be live. However, you know that I have to be live on a different channel. Right now until July 2nd, I have to go live on my other channel, because this channel I can't go live from. So it is important to become a patron. Patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. Even becoming a $2 a month patron. Because then you'll get alerted usually when I make a video. You'll know my schedule. You'll be in contact. And it's very important to follow me on all social media. @RealCronin on Twitter. Facebook.com/RageInternetRadio. My Instagram. We had a fun Instagram hangout yesterday with everybody. Instagram.com/Joe Cronin Show. Patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. And there you go. I told you guys years ago that YouTube was going to do this. Yeah, you can go watch my video, Joe Cronin Rant, YouTube, whatever. You got to look it up. I have explained that this is a situation where they want they want creators to fail. They want us to fail because they just want to make it all under one umbrella, and they really want to push the Jimmy Kimmels and the Jimmy Fallons and the NBC and the Agenda and Disney and everything like that. And they want to push what you watch and what you see and poison your mind and make the most money they can make and get people watching their TV shows again so they don't watch YouTube. Why would YouTube want you not to watch YouTube and to watch other people's TV videos? Well, because Google bought YouTube years ago, and Google is in it with all those TV companies, as we know. So we know what Google does. Google changes their algorithm and censors certain posts, especially political posts, that they don't want seen. And to be honest, I actually don't. A lot of the stuff that Google censors politically, I don't like. I don't like a lot of things that are censored. So I'm actually sticking up for the guy that I don't necessarily always like. But I'm a guy who believes in fairness, and I mess up sometimes, but I'd like to be called on it and try to correct it, because I really, really believe in fairness. Even if I am the one being unfair, I want to find out if I'm being unfair, and maybe I'll disagree that I'm being unfair. But as far as Google goes, because someone else has an opinion that isn't yours, I don't believe that it's okay to censor theirs to make yours seem like it's the more over opinion. If you think that you have the right opinion and that yours the good values, then you can rely on the fact that perhaps good will triumph over evil. But if you are censoring thought and censoring other people, then you are the evil, and you've trumped whatever evil you were trying to cover up. My name is Joe Cronin. Thanks for watching, guys. What do you think about Demolition wanting to go into Hall of Fame for $100,000? Could it happen? I don't know. Here's some more videos you might have missed. Please check out youtube.com/corruptedpodcast, where I'm going to be live tonight with Thursday Night Throwdown at 10 p.m. Eastern Time U.S. For you guys. And I'll be talking about this YouTube situation over there, and also my other gaming channel and Twitch and everything. All the links are down below in the description, hopefully. Thanks, guys. I'll see you later.